Thanks, and also welcome from my side to our webinar today. So in the next few minutes, I would like to give you some insights and some examples what we at LKW Walter has done in the recent years together with Cloudflight, of course, regarding to digital transformation. And afterwards, I would like, I'm very happy to answer your questions. So yeah, let's start with a short introduction to of our company. LKW Walter is one of the leading companies in Europe. So we are in the FTL market under the top 3 companies in Europe. And the company is family owned and was founded in 1924. So we have our 100th anniversary this year. And yeah, you could say we are maybe traditional, but we do our best to keep fresh and agile and young. And today I would like to show you some examples how we do this. Maybe some facts about our companies. Yeah, we have 1,600 employees all across Europe. They came here to Austria and work here for our company. We speak more than 40 different languages in our company because it's very important for us to speak in the language of our customers and transport partners. So it's a very big topic for us. And yeah, we do around 7,000 transports per day, and 1/3 of them are done on an intermodal solution. So it's one big part of our business. We have 2 locations. One, the headquarters is in Wiener Neudorf, and we have a second location in Kufstein. So both of them are in Austria. And here we organize all transports throughout Europe. Okay, so much for the company. Now let's take a look at what a day-to-day work for such a large transport company like LKW Walter looks like. So when we started our digital transformation around 5 to 6 years ago, we analyzed the day-to-day work of our transport managers. And it looked like pretty much like this, what you can see here on the slide. So what we have seen is supply chain is very much about information, actually real-time information. Every stakeholder, the drivers, the customers, the loading stations, the unloading stations, everyone needs information and about the transports and of course of the current status of the transports. And what we have seen is that the information which was needed was exchanged in a one-to-one communication between these stakeholders via emails, via phone calls and messengers. And as you can imagine, it's a very stressful job if you receive 400 to 500 emails per day with questions about transports. So the problem is then, the second problem is that we have seen is that if one person in this chain does not react immediately, it could be that the entire processes came to a standstill, and there are issues and incidents in the transports because one person is not able to respond immediately. So of course, in the next step, we looked at how we could fundamentally change and improve these processes. And in doing so, we realized that already 5, 6, or 10 years ago, we received or we have a lot of raw data from which we can calculate a lot of information that are needed in a daily processing of transports. So for examples for this raw data are GPS information from our trucks on trailers, or status information from train and ferry operators. So all we had to do was to intersect this data and enrich it with algorithms and so on, and then share it with our partners in our network. And that was the starting point, and of course, our first goal of the digital transformation. And so we started. And once we have this target and once we have this vision, we asked ourselves what technology we could use to achieve this goal. And of course, we analyzed all the standard tools on the market, but however, we then came to the decision that we want to develop the system by ourselves. The reason behind is what we see and what we believe is logistic logistics is becoming increasingly digitalized, and the tools and the systems are a company's USB. So we do not want to, we want to be independent when it came to tool and technology. And that's why we want to have everything under our control. So that was one reason. The second reason was the market itself is becoming increasingly dynamic. As a company, a transport company, you are therefore have to adapt very quickly to new circumstances, such as new technology, new customer requirements, or new legal requirements. And the third reason was we believe that a company's innovative strengths will be essential for its survival in the future. So we wanted to learn how to build new technology, new tools, how to implement them in the business. So that is one reason why we decided to build all by ourselves. But it is just as important to have a good network with strong partnerships to reach such goals. And that's why we looked around for partners with whom we could realize our vision. And of course, that's why we're here today. With Cloudflight, we have found and gained a very strong partner with whom we have already developed some great things. And today I would like to give you a few examples. So let's start with our transport partner onboarding. LKW Walter only uses transport partners who meet our quality standards. So this means that we have to check a lot of criteria before we can work together with transport partners in Europe. In the past, that means for us that we have a very complex process behind, a lot of paper documents which was sent by post throughout whole Europe, and it was a very long-lasting process. But together with Cloudflight, we have set ourselves the goal to reduce the onboarding time for our transport partners to just a few minutes. And yeah, that therefore we have developed a completely digital onboarding process for our transport partners, so they can log in and they can do the whole process all digital and online. And all criteria that are of course still very important for us are now checked in real time automatically in the backbone, and the transport partner can carry out the first transport for us just after a few minutes. So it's one big example how we can use technology to improve processes and to make everything more straightforward. The next example is our Loads Today Now portal. What we have seen in the recent years is that the behavior of transport partner is changing. In the past, we almost exclusively had transport partners who wanted to work with us over a long period of time. Now, transport partners want more flexibility. That was is something what we have seen on the market and what we get as feedback from our transport partners. So they want both. They want long-term cooperations with us, and they want the option to only carry out individual transports for us. So that's why we have developed our Loads Today Now portal together with Cloudflight. This gives the transport partner the opportunity to accept an order from us online at any time for a fixed price. And the key is that everything is fully automated. So the orders which are placed online are selected automatically. The price for which the transport partner can take the load is also calculated automatically. And of course, the whole information are placed online automatically. And once a transport partner has accepted an order, the transport is automatically scheduled in our TMS system. So everything is automated and therefore also very efficient for us. And it's also a great benefit for our transport partners because they can select those orders which fits best for them. Yeah, also very big topic is transparency, of course. Transparency has become the most important criterion in recent years for customers, also for us internally. Customers, I think it's also a behavior that we know from our private life. Customers want to know where their goods are at any time. So with our digital transport monitoring, also developed together with Cloudflight, we can inform as well as our employees, also our customers and our transport partners of the current status of their transport. All in real-time information with all information that we have. And we can share this information through our portals. So we have a customer portal where we can where we have integrated this information. We can we have APIs where bigger customers can get the information directly from the API, or we can send them push notifications as we know it from our private lives. Of course, also this reduces waiting times, it speeds up processes, and it saves costs for delays for our customers. The basis of this tool or system are GPS information, and we have developed or self-developed algorithms which we can calculate ETA information, for example, or we can check geofencing, or we can calculate delays. And as I mentioned before, we can share this information in real time with all our customers and partners. So also a very good example with where we can use this data that we already had 10 years ago, but we just stored it in our databases. We can now use them to enrich it and to share this information with our customers, for example. So, and one last example, which I would like to share with you today, and then we can talk or we can talk about later in detail, is our eCMR solution. As you can imagine, the handling of freight documents, especially the CMR, it is used in whole Europe and is necessary to have a CMR. This handling of these freight documents used to involve a great deal of effort. So the documents were sent to us either by post or via photos, and we had to check it manually if everything is all right and if we have all the signatures on it and so on. So it's a very complex and a very manual process for us. So also for the customers, it's a waiting time because they have to wait until we have checked everything, and then we can forward it to the customer and they can use it for their documentations and so on. So here too, we have developed a new solution where we can, with our electronic CMR or eCMR, now have the possibility to provide our customers the data in real time. So as soon as the transport starts, the customer can permanently check if everything is okay. He has direct access to the CMR, and as soon as a signature is added on, he can see it in the CMR. And as soon as the transports end, he can download the CMR. He do not have to wait for us, and he can use it for their internal processes. So it's a big improvement for our customers, and of course also for us, because we do not have to check it manually. But what is very important is, and essential for the eCMR, is that it is very easy to use by the driver, because he is the one. He has to collect the signatures from the loading station and unloading stations. And here also, together with Cloudflight, we have developed a very simple and an easy to use application for the driver. So he can use it in the daily operations. He collects the signatures and everything is done. And he does not have to think about the CMR to send it via photo and so on to us. It's already done as soon as he collects the signatures. So I hope, yeah.
May I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because I think it's more towards the previous product. There's a question from the audience. Mm-hmm. Do you also gather specific information of the method of transportation and the emissions?
Mm-hmm. of course. So we collect information, basic information at the moment from our transport partners, and we also have connections to or interfaces to OEMs and to other solutions. So we can basically track this information, but we are working on it that we get more information. So we can use already the APIs that we have implemented, and we can use it. And because we want, of course, and it's also necessary to have more information about emissions in the future. Where we are very exact is for intermodal transport, because here we have a direct integration also with the train operators. So here we have the details, the information. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second part of the question, but I think you already answered that. And fun fact, we will also get to this topic later on in the presentation, is about are there via your selection system also any ESG criteria that you incorporate in the options for customers to select?
Yeah, we have the possibility to offer our customers different types or modalities of transports. For example, a simple one is a pure transport on the street, or a transport the same route with intermodal. So of course, intermodal is more yeah, sustainable solution. Yeah, we can offer this, but to be honest, what we have seen on the market is when it comes to price, and if you talk about price, and of course, intermodal solution could be sometimes could have a higher price, then most of the customer decides for just pure the cheaper solution.
Yeah.
So it's also, I think, a part that we have to work together to
Yeah.
reach the sustainable goals. Yeah.
I think I can agree there. I think the customers are not yet willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time and maybe a bit of education here and there, but I sense the same. Yeah.
We have some first examples where it's perfect, where we work together on a more sustainable solution. But I think we need more time to talk with customers and to work with or to figure out the best solutions. Yeah, together.
There's one other question, but maybe, yeah, I'm trying to understand it as good as possible. Is it possible to the integration also in our ERP? I think for this is asked from a customer point of view, if there are APIs in place, stuff like that.
Yes, we have an integration layer where we can share, or where we have different APIs for different use cases. So we are able to provide all information that we have internally also for our customers, also for our transport partners, for example. Yes. So
okay,
answer is yes.
I think we have to move on to our next part. I think we will bring Markus also to the stage. So first of all, thank you very much, Walter. I think you already made people think, and there were already a few questions asked. Please keep on doing that during the whole webinar. And yeah, I would like to introduce you to Markus. Markus is our project lead and business analyst at Cloudflight, and also the lead project lead for the LKW Walter project. Fun fact about you is that you actually have a truck driver's license. So this is probably also meant to be why you are responsible for the LKW Walter project from Cloudflight point of view. And you are the most proud of your two kids, so that's very cute. And your third kid, I think, is Cloudflight. So hopefully you can also talk a little bit about Cloudflight. And yeah, I think you're going to be moderating the discussion together with Walter. And yeah, I'll remove myself, and yeah, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Flip. So hello also from my side. Yeah, as Flip said, project lead at Cloudflight. I'm calling in from the Vienna Cloudflight office, and in our partnership with LKW Walter, very often in contact with Walter on a day-to-day basis on working on certain topics, especially on digitalization. As a fun fact I was not yet driving a truck under the label of LKW Walter, but I'm driving the project, also with a certain license, I hope. And now going back into a bit into the topic after those fun facts, I would really like, and thanks for being available for that, Walter, go back into a few of those topics that you presented before and maybe give some valuable insights to our participants about that. One thing that was quite prominently shared by you was you are able to make your partners ready within minutes. That's, I think, a big goal that you achieved, and I think what may be interesting to share with the community, and that would be my first question to you. What was the status before you started to implement the digital solution, and how did you then finally achieve this target?
Yeah. So the process before was that I think I mentioned it was that we send or the transport partner has to send us all documents via post. So we have to check it. Then we respond to him, and then he can start working with us. So in some cases, we have seen that the duration was about 10 to 15 days from the first touching point with us to the point where he got the first transport order from us. So in an average, you can say 10 days, and we was able to reduce it to a few minutes with our digital solution. So a big step forward.
Absolutely, I think that's exactly those two figures that I think are really, really impressive in this context. That the really considerable improvement that you were able to do, and also I think adding there as I was part of the journey for a bit approaching the subject with agile software development methods was, of course, something I enjoyed seeing very much, that step by step you were getting closer to the target.
I think it was very important to get a very early feedback from the transport partners after the first draft, after the first solution, and we improved the system. And today it's, I think, very good and very, very straightforward and easy to use for the transport partners. Yeah.
And we're absolutely happy that this turned out to be a huge success. But if we go back to the topic in terms of now dynamics on the market, we see it on the slide now. One part is, of course, getting the partners. So you have people or partners at hand that can execute transport, but there's also a big dynamics in the market. You mentioned it several times. So in addition to being able to have these transport partners quickly boarded, how do you actually deal with the high or quickly raising demand of load within a short time?
So yeah, of course, what we have seen is that decisions are made quicker than maybe 10, 15 years ago. So everything is quicker, and therefore we have to automate a lot of our processes internally. So it's not possible to check all freight platforms, for example, manually with if there are new loads on it which could fit to our business. So that is something that we try to automate with APIs, with connection to the platforms, so that we can have, or that we have direct access to these platforms. The second part is also the pricing behind, because of course, if you want some loads from these platforms, you have to accept a price or give a bid. And that is something that we also have automated, that the prices are calculated for the spot market, can be calculated automatically, and we can send this information to the freight platforms and add it or bid on the orders. So that is something where we think that it's not possible to do it manually in a bigger amount of orders. So that is something that has to be automated.
Yeah, and adding to that, as you touched the topic of pricing, if I caught it well before, there you specifically, I think, worded it like having a best algorithm on the market for pricing and calculations. This is one of the important intellectual properties that you nowadays actively searching to have, right?
Yeah, of course, because I think you mentioned it before. In future, it's all about who has the best algorithms, who has the best business logic in their systems, who has more automated workflows. So for bigger companies, bigger transport companies, I think that's the way to go, and that's the competition of the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the really highly competitive environment here, and that also means that brings in on the one side a lot of challenges in how digitalization is driven. So that's basically our day-to-day work with you, from supporting you there. But also the other thing that I spotted in your presentation was the ECMR. So that's a representation of the freight document in an electronic format. And some, at least in my perspective, but also I guess for some of the participants here on our webinar, the question I would have here is this format as having the ECMR electronically available really something that you see coming into the market now? Is it broadly available in all Europe?
So what I think what the topic was in the last recent month and years is that every country in Europe has to validate the ECMR, and now I think it's all done. So every country in Europe has already validated the ECMR, so it can be used. And what we have seen in talks with other platforms, other tool providers, or companies on the market, that everyone now get ready for it. We have our first partners, our customers, which use the ECMR for all their transports. So it is something that is coming now.
Yeah, and I think I recently saw, just as a side comment for those listening to us, you posted even videos where you have a very easy way of just scanning a QR code on the trailer and getting to the document. So I think it's a very, very cool way of implementing this. Last thing before we eventually go to the question of Fabian, because there was one side sentence that also attracted my attention. Transport monitoring, where you said, okay, it seems now we are in 2024, it seems like standard that transport, you know exactly where your transport is. You came from an environment years ago where it took a lot of manual effort to achieve exactly that. So how did you really approach this implementation of knowing exactly where the truck is, where when things are going to be loaded, and getting the data available practically in real time?
So the most important part is our GPS integration. So we have an own GPS integration team because, as you may know, there are, we think, more than 600 different GPS providers or telematics providers on the market in Europe. And of course, most of them have their own data formats, their own APIs. So what we do is to reach out to them and talk to them about the integration of their system to ours, so that we can collect GPS information from the transport partners. Because we do not have own trucks, so we have to talk with the telematics providers, and of course we need the approval from the transport partners. So that was the key. And with this GPS information, we can do a lot of things. Like I mentioned, we can calculate ETA, therefore we have an own algorithm. We can check geofencing, so has the truck already reached a certain milestone, or we can calculate delays and inform the customer proactively.
Yeah, that's very nice. And I think, Flip, I would suggest that we take the question of Fabian directly into our next chapter, because
exactly.
it fits like it was. It's a given.
Yeah.
And
let me just read out loud the question, so we can answer that. I think it's addressed to Walter, more or less. So, what are your next targets with regards to digitalization and innovations? And did I understand correctly that the next step would be indeed integrating the tracking and measurement of these sustainability measures, like CO2 emissions, and also work further on the ECMR?
Yeah. So maybe when it comes to CO2 emissions, we all know the ESG reporting, which comes now in the next few years, and will have a big impact on also transport solutions. So yeah, we work on it. We see two different ways. Of course, one way is that every transport company tries to implement their own solution. That was the way to go in the recent years for such things. But what we hope is that we can there is some kind of standard on the European market, because every company needs this information, real-time information, of course, here about the emission of a certain truck or transport. So maybe you know the open logistic foundations, where some kind of maybe open source or standard APIs and tools are discussed between different players on the market. So we are also part of this foundation, and I really hope that we can that there is a decision on a standard solution for this issue, because if everyone has to solve it by themselves, I think it would be need a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and we will not have one direct solution. So I hope that we can. There is a decision that it is standardized.
Yeah, thanks for that answer. And I think I would like to pick up on that as well. First of all, I think it got already clear, and that the ESG reporting as such is quite a hurdle for the companies, and you were describing in short words what's your approach. Now, also from a bit technical perspective, you are following a data and event-driven architecture, and I would guess that's actually a question that this, to a certain extent, already supports your ESG reporting needs for quite a bit.
Yeah, because I mentioned it before. The first or the most important part is, of course, we have an integration layer where we can also collect information from other systems and integrate it in our system, or we can provide information. So this will be the part where we get information, so from providers, from transport partners, maybe also from fuel card providers or so on. As I mentioned before, I hope there will be a standardized solution on the market where we can get this information. Then we have to add it and combine it with our internal data, of course, because then the next step, we can share this information with our customers, because he needs it, or we have we has to report it to him. So yes, of course, I think we have done everything so far that we are ready for this. So just the one part is missing, where we get real-time information from the emissions, but here we are in contact, as I mentioned, with the Open Logistic Foundation, but also with some providers of these informations.
Yeah. Here I clearly see, yes, you have a strong benefit from the technology that is already in place, but also, as you explained, on the market, people seem to search for how to approach this topic. That's also maybe a small hint to the participants, as ESG seems to be quite a thing. Just feel free to post your thoughts or your approaches there. We will be happy to pick that messages up in a minute then. But last but not least, we would also to reserve a bit of time for the last topic that is here planned for this chapter, the CO2 emission. Also there, certain expectations are on the market. I think not only from the market, but also from certain political aspects have to be taken into consideration.
Of course.
And so how does currently the usage of the technology that you have in place support getting towards green transports?
Yeah. So our main solution for more sustainable transport is intermodal transport. So LKW Walter started with intermodal transport, I think, back in the 80s. And nowadays we can do 1/3 of our transports on intermodal solutions. Intermodal means that the biggest part of the transport is done on ferry or train. So of course, no CO2 emissions or a lot lower CO2 emission. And I think I had it on the slide before. We can reduce CO2 emissions by 329,000 tons per year with our intermodal solution. And of course, intermodal is very important to have integration with the train operators, with the terminals, because everything has to be optimized. It's a very complex process behind to get a trailer from Romania, for example, to Germany. So there are a lot of interactions with other companies. So of course, here is technology key to operate such kind of transports. But we also tried the first transports with e-trucks, so electronic vehicles. And of course, here also the integration, the information about battery load and something like this are very important to optimize routes, to optimize or to shorten empty kilometers and so on. So also here we need integration, we need algorithms to share this information. And yeah, so we have solutions. There's a lot of more to come. I think it's also a little bit depending on how Europe reacts to different solutions. Is it the e-truck or will it be biofuel or something like that? So I think it's not clear at the moment, but we are prepared for all these solutions.
Yeah, I clearly see from your answer that you're actively engaging in that area, and also with being intermodal expert, this helps you a lot in this current situation. Yeah, thanks for that. Then I would like, with regards to the time, hand over back to you, Flip, so we can start the Q&A session as planned.
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have indeed 5 minutes left for a few questions from the audience. I already see one from Violetta. Thank you very much. One question I would have is, yeah, I understand your intermodal approach, and I understand that you are prepared for several scenarios where the future will bring us. Yeah, maybe it's a two-sided question, but there is like also a lot of outsourcing. There is a lot of third parties often involved, smaller parties involved in the whole value chain. Mm-hmm. How do you see the role of LKW Walter towards them? Because often they do not have the investment power. They do not have the right technology, modern technology, but they do also have to report and meet the legislation. So that would be my question.
Yes, and that's the role of, I think, LKW Walter since a lot of years to help smaller companies, for example, smaller transport partners, help them to also do transport for bigger companies. And we are maybe some kind of middle layer because we can provide them the technology, we can collect the information for them, then share it with him or with the customers. So we do a lot, or we invest a lot of effort in this topic, because we think the backbone of the transport sector in Europe are the smaller parts or the smaller companies when it comes to transport partners. So we had a lot of workshops with them. We have a lot of contact with them, what they need to also get their business running. And we do our best to provide them the technology, because we have it, we can share it with them. We also have some kind of projects with them where we design APIs together with them, because they want to share their information with other companies.
Okay, that's very, very nice to hear that you're leading by example in that regard. And there's not a new question from the audience. So I do have another question with regards about legislation and all the new reporting measurements coming your way. ESG, we'd already touched upon. CSRD is one, obviously. Do you think this is enough? That it is too much, or that we need more legislation to make sure we get to the zero emission status?
Of course, legislation can help to reach this goal, but then it's not a self-driven or goal from the companies. It's more, okay, we have to do it. But I think what we have a lot of discussions with customers, with transport partners when it comes to sustainable transport solutions. And as I mentioned before, what we see at the moment is that price is king because, of course, economics are not, or maybe from economic side, it's a tough time for a lot of companies. So you have to search for the cheapest solution to get your supply chain working. But on a long-term perspective, I think there is no other solution that everyone sits on a table and think about what can we do to make it more sustainable. We have some kind of examples where also the customer maybe provides loading stations for the e-truck and so on. So that are good examples where we see, okay, it is possible. It is also from when you think about margins and so on, it's possible to do it profitable. But it's just examples at the moment. But I think society will bring it that we also talk about bigger solutions, more examples. I hope, yeah. But at the moment, the legal aspect is the driver behind, I think.
Okay. Thank you very much. We do have one question / statement. So from Sam, in fact, tracking emissions real time across most means of transport is already possible now. The question is whether it would be possible to integrate with your internal system through API. Markus, maybe this is also a question for you, but maybe for both of you.
Yeah, I think we can try to answer it from both sides. The possibility, I agree with Sam, is there also when you see the vehicles used, can be the trucks, but also when you're on the train, those are collecting data much more data than in the past. So of course, this gives the possibilities. As I see it, and here I think the point is completely right from my perspective, is the integration. So you would need to go and fetch the data in the right way with integrating it to your actual system landscape. And I think this going forward now, having CO2 emission as one of the bullet points that is definitely on the agenda. Standardization would help, of course, to fetch the data because everyone needs this for the reporting. But it also gives some investment for those like in that case Walter, where certain systems are already up and running and need some work to fetch the data and integrate it properly.
I think the biggest issue is to have such consolidated solution. So it's a little bit compared with GPS. The problem would be if we have more than 100 different solutions and we have to integrate with different providers of this information. So I think the biggest challenge is to consolidate this information, the emission data through all systems and not just for one part of the transports. So that is the most challenging aspect in this part or in this topic.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of the webinar. I would like to thank you, Walter, very, very much for being available and giving your insights from one of the market leaders in transport and logistics. Markus, also you, thank you very much for giving your technology insights and your view on how you can prepare your company for the future. And I would like to thank the audience and also the people for your engagement. I think there was a lot of questions and interactions. We will also open for feedback in terms of what we did today, a bit of a shorter webinar in the morning. This was also on our sides a new way of doing it. And I see already a lot of thank yous. Thank you also for the engagement, and I wish everybody a great Thursday and already also a weekend in advance. And we might meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye.